Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I am your science teacher, and today the video's topic discussion is solar eclipse. So, solar eclipse, we all know about it somehow, and basically, what is eclipse? Eclipse is it is you can say a phenomena, an event that occurs when an astronomical object temporarily obscured or abstain or stops the light which is passing from the sun towards the earth or any other planet. So basically, an eclipse is an astronomical event that occurs when an astronomical object is temporarily obscured by passing into the shadow of another body, or by having another body pass between it and the viewer. So this alignment of the celestial object is known as syzygy. Now, the next thing is that what we are going to talk about is the sun and the moon. So this is a very rare picture of sun and moon, and these pictures were taken uh, via NASA, and they are really close picture, or you can say a false image of the sun, which is observed in the extreme ultraviolet region of the spectrum. And the moon picture is basically the 16th day of the moon, and it was taken from Taiwan on 31st March. So basically, the sun and the moon are miracles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Quran that about eclipse, that when vision is dazzled and the moon darkens and the sun and the moon are joined, so basically Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show these signs on the doomsday. But maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept these events in our life, maybe within a year or two, 1 to 2 years, or up to, you can say, 5 years, so that we can remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his miracles. We can get a reference from hadith as well. So it was narrated that the sun eclipsed in the lifetime of Prophet Muhammad when his son died. So the people said the sun had eclipsed because of the death of Ibrahim. So Prophet Muhammad said, the sun and the moon do not eclipse because of the death or life, that is birth of someone. When you see the eclipse, pray. So we have a few references from Quran and Hadith as well. Now let's have a look on it, that basically what is a moon. So basically, the moon is the fifth largest planet of the 190 moon that is orbiting in the solar system, and it is a satellite. It is a natural satellite. So people do not even know about it until Galileo discovered 4 moons of Jupiter. And the brightest and the largest object in our night sky is the moon, which makes our life more livable. Now, if it is lightening our life in the night, so how are we getting the light? So the base of the light of moon is not basically the moon, it's the sun. So the core idea of the eclipse is to let you know that, if you can see the picture in front of me, so the sun is basically 93 miles away from the earth, while the moon is 239,000 miles away from the earth. So basically, when we see the alignment, the sun comes first, as you know that it is the center of the solar system, and then there are 2 more planets, Jupiter and Mercury and Venus, and then the earth comes, which is the third planet. Every planet has got its own moon or moons. The earth has only one moon, as you can see here in the picture. So basically, a solar eclipse occurs when a portion of earth is engulfed in a shadow cast by the moon, which fully or partially blocks sunlight. This occurs when the sun, moon and earth are aligned. So this is the core idea of the whole eclipse. Now, the most important thing we need to talk about is that the eclipse is not seen from every place on earth, but only from the locations where the shadow falls. As you can see here, that the sun's light is making a shadow on a certain part of the earth, and there are 2 shadows. The darker shadow you can see is umbra, while the lighter shadow is penumbra. Now, Scientifically, scientists have studied a few, you can say, parts of moon shadows, umbra, antumbra, and penumbra. So, if we directly move towards the diagram, how do they look? So, if you can observe here, the not to this scale, this is a picture which is showing a location of a sun, a location of a moon, and obviously after moon there will be earth, but it is not shown here. So if you can see the orange patch, it is umbra when we have a total eclipse. If you can see the blue patch, it is penumbra. It is basically happening when we have a partial eclipse, and the green phase is the antumbra. So annular eclipse is basically the phase. So basically what is the annual phase, the lunar phase, we will let you know. So when there is a total eclipse, a Bell's bead rings, small rings are formed. These rings are basically small portion of the light which is emitting from the sun, and after some time when slowly the sun starts moving, not the sun, I'm extremely sorry, the moon starts moving again in its orbit, so the diamond ring is formed. So these are the phenomena scientists have observed. If you look at in this picture closely, you will see that the moon has its own orbit, and this is the moon's orbit. Let me point it out. This is the moon's orbit, and moon is basically orbiting in its own orbits. It's moving, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that each and every planet, it has its own orbit and moving by the order of Allah in their own planes. So moon's orbit is a bit different, and if you can see over here in this picture, so you can easily focus that sun's light will make a shadow if the moon comes in between. Not to the whole world it will make a shadow. Why? Because of the size of the moon, there will be a certain darker area. There will be a small darker area, and that small darker area you can witness from some places. So there are these types of eclipses, as I was saying, that the size of moon matters, the distance of moon matters from the earth. So you can see on the total eclipse, the distance of moon is different. You can see in the annular eclipse that the moon is nearer to sun, far from the earth. And in the partial eclipse, the moon is basically diagonally present through the earth. A partial eclipse is when only a portion of sun is blocked by the moon, and earth will not get the sufficient or complete light, so partially it will be an eclipse. Now I would like to share with you the orbit of moon. How do we basically feel about this orbit? So can you see the dark phase? The dark spot is moving on the earth. So from the space, moon's shadow during a solar eclipse appears as a dark spot moving across the earth. So the whole earth will not be that dark, only a few parts from where the shadow of moon is there, so they will be darker. This is basically a progression of a solar eclipse that started on August 1 by 9:45 a.m. and it ended by 11:47. So you can see how the progression of moon, which actually engulfed the light of sun, progressed from 9:45 till 11:47. Scientists have always thought of the solar eclipse, that how the eclipse have occurred, what is the phenomena. So these are some notes I have taken here. Ibn Yusuf wrote about it when he was in the mid of the 993 to 1004 year. So there are some facts about solar eclipse. The longest that solar eclipse will last is 7.5 minutes. The most solar eclipse of any type that occur in the moon within a year is 5. A total solar eclipse occurs about every 1.5 years. Animals sometimes become confused and behave strangely. Total solar eclipse cannot be seen from the North and South Pole. Almost identical solar eclipse happen every 18 years. So these are all the facts about the solar eclipse. So I hope that I am clear to it. And one more thing, that same coming into the same alignment from of the solar system, from moon to earth, alignment of moon and earth towards sun, basically makes these things possible. As you can see here, that as you can see here that this is the location of the sun, and you can easily observe the differences or distances of the moon here. So I hope that I'm a bit clear to all of you scientifically. But for the timing, what we have to do, we have to offer lots and lots of prayers, and this is the time where we should basically pray to Allah and do Astaghfaar and Tawbah. Jazakallah.